Local Government Corporation. It's a special meeting set to make a presentation to those of you who haven't been as closely involved with this project as we have. Quorum being present, we'll call the meeting to order, and the items on the agenda are to first do this presentation, and then that will be followed by a public forum where you will have an opportunity to ask questions. The general format is that Mayor Paul Harpel is going to speak first on his part, and Councilman Eads is going to speak on his part, and I'll do a little bit, and then we'll get to the questions and answers. Mayor?
Well, thank you. I think I'm technically challenged.
Okay, is it on? There we go, thank you. So thank you all for being here tonight. You know, this isn't the first meeting. Gee, it was 25 years ago or so people started talking about this, and they formed a little group called Center City. Now I'm inspired tonight because this morning I opened the newspaper, and I'll tell you what, if that isn't the greatest news for our city, I don't know what is. Someone's going to invest. Someone with some foresight and some knowledge about our city that's had a good investment with a downtown property is now going to invest $45 million and basically give it to the city. I don't want to steal their thunder, so you're going to hear about that in a minute. But I want to tell you the other part of good news for me today was I went to Lowe's, Home Depot stores the other day, and I had to go to two to find one, but I found me a postal digger, and I saved the receipt. And now I can return that because I was about to go out to those sites and start digging. And now I think I can take that back, so I'm glad I saved my receipt. I want you to think with me back to why we're here. I want you to think with me about how you got here, how we as a city got here. So let's talk about this for just a minute. You're going to hear some plans revealed tonight that talk about growth and revival. You're going to hear some excitement in the air. If you leave here without excitement in the air, pro or con, it's going to be surprising to me. But I think it's mostly going to be pro. Let's revisit and talk about how we got here today. Go back to the late 60s. The airbase closes. It's gone. Gee, what was that bumper sticker? Who's going to turn the lights out when they leave Amarillo? Who's the last person to leave? The last downtown hotel closes. It's gone. And then buildings begin to be torn down because owners really weren't doing anything with them. And people had a vision of needing more parking or whatever, but it was because the malls opened, our whole culture changed, and the shopping went away. And the sad thing was that the neon lights on Polk Street started to dim. They were getting dimmer and dimmer. I'll never forget the first meeting I went to about this where we had people talk up and stand up and talk about what they saw in downtown. And it was all the memories of cruising Polk Street or going to the movies on a first date or doing whatever at the Herring Hotel. All the things that happened in this area that are in everybody's blood here. You know, the people finally said, stop. They looked around and they said, we got to think about what's going on in our city. We got to stop what's going on because this isn't healthy. We're starting to pour money then into keeping the downtown going. There wasn't anything to keep it going for. Bad influences were moving into downtown. But we still had strong banking in downtown. We had professional office space that was very occupied. And we still had a strong presence of government in downtown. And we built a great civic center. Right after the airbase closed, the citizens in this city had the foresight to build a civic center. When the whole world was coming to an end, they built a great civic center. And it's been added to it. It's been enhanced. So, along with all that, property values stagnated. And we saw most of the downtown property values dropping tremendously. We saw no growth in downtown while the rest of the city was going up 7 or 8% a decade. And this was hovering at the same figure, and really it was dropping because so many buildings were gone. Over 100 buildings torn down. And everybody kind of said stop. I remember coming to meetings here When I didn't believe in a downtown hotel, I thought the only thing dumber was a ballpark. I got on the Convention and Visitors Bureau board and learned the difference. I learned about submitting for conventions. I learned about how we couldn't grow. I learned about how our tax rate is supported by sales tax that we don't raise. It's capped at 8 1/4. The city gets 2 cents of that. But think about, when I was first a commissioner, we got $32 million in sales tax a year. Last year we got $52 million in 9 years because we're such a regional economy, because so many people come from Perryton, as far away as that, to come for a movie and dinner. We're a regional economy and we've got to grow on that. So let's think about what has happened. Center City was formed, and a group of dedicated citizens said, we're going to stop this. We're going to turn this around. A group of people decided to build a Globe News Center for Performing Arts. They gave $30 million. And we had to put a little bit in, and we've been critiqued. I was on the commission when we voted to fill that last $1.5 million gap. That was filled with hot tax, motel tax money, and that comes from people that live out of town and visit here. I can't get anybody to tell me they're staying in the hotels in Amarillo if they live here. So I think most of it really comes from out-of-towners that visit. And over 50% of our sales tax revenue, that $52 million last year, comes from people that live outside. So we know they don't live in Amarillo. They spend money here. That's a capped tax rate. It only grows because more people want to spend more money here. And we knew without a downtown convention hotel, because we were told that over and over, we couldn't build conventions. We couldn't really let our civic center flourish. And we couldn't start to revitalize. That was the best hope to revitalize downtown. So groups formed. Eventually we had a downtown redevelopment committee led by folks like Richard Ware, former mayor Glenn Parkey, Bill Gilliland, and 30 people, many of them sitting in this room, that started to meet and talk about how can we get this thing going. Well, finally a plan was commissioned. That plan was finished, and we said, you know, we've got to have somebody that gets up every morning and says this plan's going to take place. And that was eventually the Downtown Amarillo Inc. board, who hired Melissa Daly to come and get up every day saying, we're going to finish this plan, we're going to take care of this. Well, the city commissioned a comprehensive plan for the entire city. That hadn't been done since 1985. Citizens sat down with professionals and said, what do we want our city to be in years to come? We had 2 elections where they were sort of referendums on all of us who were on this commission, seeing that we wanted this city to progress. And we were re-elected by 80-some%. I'm not sure we would be another time, but we were re-elected by 80-some%. I heard from a relative, he said, the only people that get that kind of a margin is Kim Jong-il in North Korea. I said, please don't say that publicly. The TIERS was formed, and 5 taxing entities participated in that TIERS. And all of them will see unbelievable growth when it's done. Without it, we were going along steady and we were declining. So we now are here because the local government corporation has come together with developers, people bring money to our city, and local citizens put money into our city to make it grow. And we're going to hear about the wonderful plans. We've had commitments from AEDC, Center City, TIERS, Potter County. You're going to hear about some of those details. It is impossible for us, for me, on behalf of the city, to thank everybody who's participated. But I want to tell you, it's been an incredible ride, whether it's been the staff, or whether it's been DAI, or whether it's been the TIERS board, or the past board members, or Center City, or whether it's been the Downtown Development Group that morphed into DAI, all these people saying, stop, we've got to gather everything and make this work. We've got to grow back and continue to grow our tax base. And this is the best avenue to do that, and the result is we stay off the backs of homeowners with property tax. If we hadn't raised that sales tax by $20 million in the last 9 years, a year, the only place to provide you the same services is on the backs of homeowners. And that would have taken about an 18-cent tax increase that I would have said not no, but heck no to. And you would have too. So we are so fortunate to have this regional economy. And we want to take advantage of that. And I want to introduce There's a number of people here, but I want to introduce Commissioner Dr. Brian Eads, who has worked on this from the beginning, has spent countless hours along with the people on the LGC, Jim Sims, who is not here tonight, couldn't be, Ron Boyd. I won't name everybody, but certainly the people that have been most important to that LGC, and I think Brian and all of us would agree, has been Parkey, Pittner, and Brown. So you're going to hear from Brown last, but we thought they were forming a new law firm in town. We weren't sure. Brian has been at the forefront of this. I want to thank everybody for their participation, but I'd like to pass it to Brian to kind of explain what is next and how is this going to happen. Commissioner, Councilor Eads.